All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to mute everybody, but if you got a question, just put it in the chat. Ask it anytime. I'll try to answer. All right. So what I want to go over today is how to create a killer sales presentation. Everything I do, everything I teach is stuff that I've used at Carpets of Arizona. We use it here. If many of you know, I sold the company to my son. And so I'm no longer in the company, but they're still using all the tools, everything that I've done, and I still help them out, come in from time to time and work on the marketing and sales and things like that. So, but this is something that we teach in masterclass too. I'm going to go over a good example today, enough to get you started and get you going. So with a good sales presentation, you're going to be able to beat your competition with higher prices, close more sales with confidence, and create an excellent customer experience. One thing you want to look at and consider, this is more about what the customer is going to experience than it is about you as a company, how long you've been in business and why you're so good. It's really an interesting thing. If you can walk a customer through what they'll experience, that speaks so much more volumes than saying what a good company you are. That will speak for itself. All right, we got the recording started. Just a brief plug for the masterclass that's coming up in a couple weeks, February 10th and 11th. Again, this is one of the subjects we'll go over. I'm not holding back any information here. Going to give you all I got, and but the masterclass will go over a lot of things that will work really well for you in your company. You're going to enjoy it. It's kind of storyboarded this way, how it breaks it down. We start off in the masterclass by setting your goals, your numbers, and really it's very academic. It goes down to, all right, how many leads do you need to reach your goals? And then next is the marketing. So how are we going to get those leads that we need to reach our goals? Trying to admit somebody else. There we go. And then next is we go from the sales presentation. We go walk you through from answering the phone or an email or text or however you're getting that lead. We go right from the greeting to closing the sale. And how you greet somebody is going to be different depending on how they enter your showroom, whether it's in the door, the phone call, email. So we address all that. A big part of my whole program is to get you guys to raise your prices, to command the money that you're worth, and keep up with the raising prices. It's tough, but there's no reason why your prices shouldn't go right along with the market and whatnot. You're earning jobs in other ways. It's not by the price. If you're earning jobs by the price you charge, then you're going to lose this race. You're going to be doing it wrong, and you're worth more than that. So there's no reason why you shouldn't command higher prices. And then on Fridays, more like a leadership day, we go into how to hire a top salesperson. And then our sales manager here, Miranda, talks about how she manages her team. So it's very extensive, to our Monday morning meetings, to individual sales meetings, and gives you a good insight into how you can structure your management and lead your team, motivate them, get them to work good for you. And then we talk about, Shane talks about the installation incentive program, something that we implemented about a year ago, a little over a year ago now. It's really helped with 5-star reviews. It's helped installers perform better, creates a better customer experience, and it works fantastic in the sales presentation. All right, so this is some of the reasons why you should have a sales presentation. You're going to give the customer more confidence in using you, and you're going to also, your sales team will be a lot more knowledgeable and professional. It's all about the process and what that customer is going to experience. If you do this right, the customer is going to be afraid to use somebody else. And that's it. What I love about this strategy is you're not bad mouthing anybody, but through your presentation, if you do it right and you do it well, it begs the question, I wonder if the other people are going to do the same thing. So it's very effective in making them afraid to not use you. So it's not about bad mouthing the competition, but your presentation is so good, you got to question what the experience is going to be like using somebody else. And then finally, you won't be competing on price. Again, I would rather pay you more money to get this kind of experience than try to save some money and use somebody else. This is the one that we use for carpet. And then no more winging it. This is the other thing is, you hire a salesperson, everybody kind of has their own way. And it's very inconsistent when you're doing it that way because maybe they're knowledgeable, maybe they're a good salesperson, but that salesperson's not always going to be there. And the customer's going to call up and ask questions about, well, Joe said you were going to do this and Joe said you were going to do that. And how come nobody did this? Nobody did that. It's very inconsistent. So a lot of people if you have multiple salespeople, you might find that salespeople are saying things that you do that maybe you did at one time and you don't do anymore. So that sales presentation is also going to help everything from a cultural standpoint. It gives everybody a better understanding of the entire process. All right, let's get started. I gave you guys a sheet of paper. If you didn't get it, just use a blank sheet of paper. I gave you this, and that's just to help get started. So for your header, try to do something that's unique. I love naming a process. If you name your process, it makes it really easy to talk about. I always think about networking meetings. If I'm in a networking meeting, I can talk about the Home Seller Dream program that we do, or I can talk about our 5-star experience that we give in our installation experience, the ultimate flooring experience. I like to name my processes because it makes it really easy to discuss. Also, if I'm shooting a video, if I'm doing a Facebook ad, anything like that, if you name your process, it makes it interesting and it makes people go, I want to learn more about that. Like the Home Seller Dream program. It's like we have a program that you can pay for it after the house is sold. What's that? That whole communication isn't as smooth as when you say, oh, we have this system. It's called the Home Seller Dream program where you can pay for the job after the house is sold. It makes it much easier to communicate and for them to remember. So here's some ideas for headers. You can offer a 5-star experience. Whatever city you're in, try to match it. For us in Phoenix, it could be the Phoenix Firebird process. Nick's on the call here, Tuscany quality. We're really storyboarding some stuff with Nick, and he's working with my friend Jim as well. And he's got this thing with the Tuscany name. It's a romantic thing that you can storyboard around it, build into it the quality and the culture of the Tuscany architecture, whatnot. That's going to be really easy to storyboard around, make romantic. And, this is going to help Nick sell, but it's also going to help him to hire salespeople to tell the same exact story. And these salespeople don't need to have experience in flooring to be able to tell this story. It's going to be really easy for them. Speed of service sells. I mean, one of the best lines from any company is Domino's Pizza, 30 minutes or less, or it's free. They don't offer quality pizza. Jimmy John's offers speed of service, never offer quality food. So speed of service does sell. If you're capable of doing an installation fast, that will sell, especially if they're selling a home, or there may be some circumstances where you might want to offer a fast installation process. Solid core installation, you could talk about the click and lock, diamond select installation. I had blinds once that I called diamond select wood blinds. It had a diamond point finish on it. And I had a competitor who sold the same blinds, sold them for less money. And I got the job over him one time. And he went to the manufacturer and he's like, what's this diamond select blind? And how come you don't sell me this? And he says, we do sell you that. He says, it's the same blind. He just named it and made it more interesting for the customer. So they have more confidence in me and went with me for the same exact product and paid me more money. We did the same thing with Car and Dean. I was working a home show and I offered waterproof wood style flooring and coined that phrase really early on. And the person, the guy took our flyer, the customer took our flyer to this other person's booth. He also carried Car and Dean. That guy went to his sales rep and says, how come you're not selling me waterproof flooring? And he says, we are. It's the same stuff. He just named it. So you can get clever in your marketing and beat your competition by, I don't know, being sexier, being more romantic, being more interesting. The click it ticket stampede guaranteed. You might have click and lock flooring. I've seen examples where you can drive a forklift over it, or maybe a stampede can go over this thing and it's not going to come apart. It makes a good, impressive presentation. Busy household that might influence somebody to buy. One of the things I used to sell is renter's planks. These things are specially developed for rental houses. No, they're not. They're just cheap planks that people would buy for a rental house. But it was easy to storyboard around renter planks. And when I was doing that, I only offered 6 colors because the more I give people to choose from, the less likely they are to make a decision. The more samples you show them, the more they want to see. So that's a little trick I learned with the Home Seller Dream program. We only show 2 carpets. If you show them more than that, they want to see more. All right, so how are you going to deliver your estimate? So that was the header part. So now we're going to get into the first part. How are you going to deliver your estimate? Are you going to give, and we call ours, we give a guaranteed accurate quote. After we measure, we'll give you a guaranteed, no surprises, accurate quote. All right, so some of you guys will gather the information and get it back to them. And one thing we teach you in a masterclass is how to give an estimate in the home. I think it's important that you give a price in the home and you give the customer an opportunity to buy from you. And I show you all the reasons why at the masterclass, why that's really important and how to do that. But there's somebody, Buddy from Simply Floors, their system, their process is to get all the information, get back the next day. But they're very good about it. They've got a well done, well thought out process. So they explain it to the customer in a very professional way. I know Rachel Berlin, they send out somebody to measure the home. I absolutely hate this service, to use somebody else to measure the home and not have a decorator or the salesperson be in the home to see the home, measure it up, and decorate. This should be a fun process for the customer. But if I did use that service, I would make it fantastic. I would tell people that we use a professional measuring service to avoid costly mistakes, overruns, not getting the job done right. I would make that sexy as hell and show the customer why our process just kicks ass over other people. And then I would have a surefire delivery system. If you guys are going to deliver the quote via email or something like that, you should always follow up with a phone call or a text to say, hey, did you get that quote? Don't just send it out in an email and leave it up to the ether and hope and pray that they got your quote. Okay, so when we're doing this, if you can see in my flyers, what I do is I'll say a guaranteed accurate quote, and then underneath it, it says, after we measure and you select, we'll give you a guaranteed, no surprises, accurate quote. One thing I've learned is that you can create that heading for what you're going to do, and then you don't need to give all the details underneath. Give a couple of lines or one line, but it's really for the salesperson. It's a tool for the salesperson to explain. And if I didn't say this before, it's really important that you have the flyer. It gives it validation, it gives it weight, it gives the customer confidence. I mean, this is real. If you just go over this with a customer and you tell them all the stuff that you're going to do, it's kind of meaningless. They're not going to remember it. But as you go over it with them and you give it to them, it's going to help them understand and remember it, especially if they're getting other estimates. And then furthermore, we were talking about this in another forum, that a contractor was having trouble explaining it to his customer. Sometimes you have to train the person you're talking to how to sell to somebody else. So if you're dealing with the wife and her husband's going to get home, this is going to help the wife sell to her husband, because she'll be able to go over all this with her husband and say all the stuff that you do and why she's more confident in using you guys than the person that was 20% cheaper. All right, so what's the process after? All right, I gave you my deposit. Now what's going to happen? Do you order their materials right away? So we say we order, schedule, and confirm. And we go over this with them in the sales presentation. In our carpet presentation, number 2 is love your carpet guarantee. Number 3 is order, schedule, and confirm. So we explain to them that we don't wait for your materials to come in, that we're going to schedule your installation within 24 hours of getting your order. So, and then we'll keep up with you to confirm when your materials are coming in. You can choose to do it that way, or you can say, no, I'm not comfortable doing that. But be clear in your communication of how and when you're going to schedule that installation. If you want to wait till the materials come in, you better have a process for staying in touch with them, else they're going to get frustrated. So when are you going to call them to schedule the install? Is it going to be when the materials come in or right away? And then do you contact them if there's a delay? And then how often do you stay in touch with them? Do you confirm the day before the installation? Okay, so one thing I learned is that we'll call you the day before the installation. We used to call in the evening, and now we've changed it to the morning before the installation, because people were calling us by 2, 3 o'clock wondering if we're still going to come out tomorrow. So I wanted to be ahead of the game. So we changed our process, this was years ago, to calling them the morning before. Do you move furniture for free? What is that process like? So address your furniture process. Make it sound good, a white glove process. We take care of your furniture. How about appliances? Do you move those for free? Is there a charge for that? I would recommend that you do it for free. And the way you do it for free is by putting it in your bill. So I don't like line item quotes, but however you do it, explain that process to your customer and make it sound good and sexy. Some people have a professional plumber. They might say, we use Jake that reinstalls a toilet. We want to make sure there's no leaks, so we use a professional every time. And that you're going to help arrange that. Don't leave it up to the customer, but think that process through about what your customer's experience is going to be like and sell that to them. How are you going to handle the tear out? What should they know about that? And it's really funny this is one of those areas where you can really set yourself apart. So we say we tear out, dispose, sweep, and inspect. So we sweep your floors. We're not going to leave a bunch of dirt and stuff underneath it. All right. Now that leaves questions to the competition. The other thing we do is we'll haul off and throw away your stuff. We're not going to leave it out on the sidewalk. Now that leaves question about your competition, so they may have already gotten a quote from Home Depot or from a competitor. And if they didn't explain to them, that leaves a question in their mind. I wonder if that other company throws it out, or if they just leave it on the sidewalk. They didn't really address that. So we also inspect the tack strips when we're doing carpet. Now, if I have separate presentations, one for carpet, one for luxury vinyl. So we don't sell a lot of wood. I always wanted to make a kick-ass presentation for wood. Also, those of you guys that do refinishing, you should make a killer presentation for refinishing. I can't believe, I mean, you should be able to sell refinishing hardwood for $6, $7, $8 a square foot easily. It just requires a good presentation to give customers confidence in using you. Do you sweep and inspect the floors? Do you treat the floors with anything before installing? We have a product called Dumbo Spray. Dumbo Spray is something I created out of whole cloth. It kills dog urine, mold, mildew, bacteria, and odors. That's the acronym. Dog urine, mold, mildew, bacteria, and odors is Dumbo. And I sat around with my salesperson, and I just wanted my customers to have this experience. So if any customer has a pet, we've sold that job like that. And especially if it's somebody that moved into a house and they have that odor, nobody can compete with us at any price. So what happens to the customer is they end up asking the question to our competitors, do you have anything to treat the floors? And our competitors' answer is, yeah, we have something. I don't remember what the charge is. Let me go back and get that back to you. But yeah, I know we have something that'll help. Well, who would you go with? The company that has something that's going to charge you extra, or that company that has Dumbo Spray and does it every time before? So we always install on a fresh, clean surface. It's a nice storyboard. It just flows. All right, what materials are you going to use? So if I'm creating a presentation for tile, I might talk about the spacers that I use and why I get more consistent grout lines with this spacer. I would talk about the mud I'm using, why I get a better installation. I would definitely talk about the grout I'm using and why I'm using that type of grout. Underlayment, if you're using a laminate, what kind of underlayment are you using? Any product where you are using an underlayment, make them really confident in that. Carpet pad, if you're installing carpet, what kind of carpet pad are you using? We took that out of our presentation, which I don't like. That's a decision they made here, but I always liked giving the upgraded carpet pad for free. It's actually one way that they make more money here is to take that out and still use a lot of the carpet that we sell here is Bolera, so it doesn't need the waterproof backing on it. So it's still the same quality of carpet pad, but they could have kept that in there and used an upgraded carpet pad. So how are you going to finish? Do you vacuum? So after a carpet job, are you guys going to clean up and leave nice and finished? Do you use for tile, do you use a certain kind of sealer? Do you put their furniture back so their house is put back the way that you left it? Could you offer a white glove service? Talk about how everything's put back together. Our guys take good care of your stuff. If you do it, great. If you don't, then you're not going to offer that, but you still might want to think that through about what that process is going to be like for your customer. And you can spin things any way you want. I've dealt with for years if you're a guy in a truck, you don't have a showroom, I can spin that to make it sound like that's an advantage for the customer. We don't have the overhead of a showroom, and we find it better to decorate in the customer's home than coming into a showroom. The problem with the showroom is you don't have good lighting, and it's not like the lighting in your home. So if you're looking at stuff there, it's not going to be like that. And that process is going to take so much longer than a showroom. So, and then if I have a showroom, oh, you don't want to use the fly-by-nights in the truck. Yeah. So whatever your advantage is, hey, look, if you're taking good care of your customer, at the end of the day, that's what matters, is taking good care of your customers. But what we're doing here is taking what we do that's ordinary and making it extraordinary. All right. So explaining all these little details to them, and don't get caught in the weeds and in the minutia. Don't over explain maybe, but make it sexy and make it interesting and storyboard it in a way that makes them confident in you. But explaining this, it is funny that when you give an explanation to the customer and you have documentation, you've got a flyer, you've got something tangible that makes sense, it just works so much better than just everybody in the company winging it and telling their story the way that they tell it and the way that they do it. Do you offer any guarantees? We offer a lifetime installation warranty. I don't know why people are afraid to do this. Actually, I do know why. A lot of people are concerned about things coming back to them. But I've talked to so many floor dealers and ask them after 5 years, if you have a problem, if they have a problem with the installation part of the flooring, are you going to take care of it at no charge? Or are you going to have a trip charge? What are you going to do? And how have you handled it? Most of you guys have just taken care of the customer, especially if it was truly an installation error or something like that. So offer a lifetime installation warranty. You're going to take care of them anyway, so you might as well do it. If you have a 3-year or a 5-year warranty, whatever that is, make that sound good. I think one thing that's interesting is the carpet warranties are crazy. They're 20, 25 years. But I'll tell you one thing we've had the best luck with is Bolera is a 10-year no surprises warranty. And we talked to that customers about the 10-year no surprises warranty. And even though it's 10 years, not 15, 20, 25 years, people really buy into that warranty. They love it. And they're not comparing it really against the other warranties. So you can sell that guarantee, that warranty at any rate. Put it in your proposal. We have our lifetime guarantee on our flyer. So is there anything else that separates you? We talked this over with somebody. Do you leave some sort of cleaning or maintenance package? The one thing we didn't include in our flyer, which we should have in here, is the installation incentive program. That's the program. What we do is we call the customer after the installation to see how did the install go. The reason we came up with this is we kept getting the question that, there's another big tip for you guys. We kept getting the question, are your guys' in-house or are they subcontractors? And I always argue, if you keep getting the same question and you get stumped by the same question over and over, a lot of us get frustrated and we complain about that. Like, how much do you charge? Instead of thinking that through, how are you going to answer that question? Think it through a little bit, put it on the whiteboard, and come up with an answer that you can give every time and that all your salespeople can give every time. Don't leave it to chance and trying to make it up as you go along. So now when they ask that question, we say we have the installation incentive program, and what we do is we call you after the job is done and we ask you to rate the installers. And when the installers get a 5-star rating from you, after a few of them, we give them a bonus. And what that's done is really helped us get a lot more 5-star reviews. And it's helped our installers understand how important it is to be on time or to call you when they're running late. I mean, it's just a solid presentation that customers really love. And it's a better answer than saying, oh yeah, they're in-house, or yeah, we use subcontractors. You know, it's just a thought out answer. So do you have some sort of follow-up? If you have a routine follow-up where 6 months or a year, you're going to call them back. We used to have a pretty good follow-up process, and as we grew, it was harder to keep up with it. But we had a 60-day follow-up where after 60 days, we would call them just to make sure. We know that sometimes things get loose and maybe you keep meaning to call us, but you haven't. So we just want to check, make sure everything's okay. Boy, that 60-day follow-up was fantastic too, because customers would say, oh yeah, you know, I did have a problem with the stairs and I've been meaning to call you guys, but I haven't. And here's what happens. If they're meaning to call you and they haven't, they're pissed off at you. Even though you don't know about the problem, they're still pissed off at you because they have a problem and you haven't taken care of it. So I love the 60-day follow-up because it also gives you a chance to not only address those problems, but get referrals, stay top of mind, you know, get more work. So if you have some sort of follow-up like that, put that in your presentation. If you have a referral program, put that in your presentation. You know, you might say, well, we work mostly on referrals. So if you do have friends that need any flooring done, we appreciate your business. Another little trick about referrals is when you answer the phone, instead of saying, how did you hear about us? You can ask the question, who told you about us? Just assume that somebody referred you and they'll say, oh no, I looked you up, I saw you online. Oh, okay, we get a lot of referrals here. That puts it into their head. Oh, one, that these guys get referred a lot, and two, maybe I'll refer them. So nice little trick of the trade. All right, so now it's your turn. If you guys want any clarity, you want to discuss your process, here's a reminder that masterclass, February 10th and 11th. If you want to sign up for that, just send me an email, message me on Facebook. But for now, I'm going to open up to you guys. Unmute yourself if you got any questions, any thoughts around your process and how we might be able to word your process better. Or if my presentation was that good and you guys have absolutely no questions whatsoever, we can end our call. Or if my presentation was that bad and you guys have no questions whatsoever, we can end the call.
Hi, Jerry. Yeah, I really appreciate all this. And yeah, we typically email out our quotes instead of trying to give them the quote in the house when we measure. But not sure if I'm ready to make that big of a change, but I do see how presenting the quote and discussing all this stuff and having some documentation to back it up to give the customers could help a lot.
So what I'd recommend to you then is telling the customer how you're going to deliver that quote in this presentation. So some people will give you a quote in the home, and what we find is there's a lot of mistakes that are made and it's very frustrating. So we want to be accurate and give you a guaranteed accurate quote. So we like to take it back and make sure that the owner looks it over, or Joe looks it over, and that we have enough materials. I also want to check on the inventory because right now the supplies shortage has been a big issue. So yeah, I want to give you a quote on this, but we guarantee you we'll have that quote to you back within 24 hours. And I will also be giving you a call or a text to make sure that you receive that quote. I mean, I'd process it. You can, again, you can spin that. So to show them that, hey, if I'm delivering the quote through an email the next day, that's better than delivering it to you right in front of you. I recommend delivering it to them in front of them, given an opportunity to buy. But if that's not your process, then give a reason for the way you use your process that benefits them. And this is another big thing for all of you guys. I mean, there's a lot of you guys that were former installers. And if there's a problem on the job, then you'll go out there and take care of it. I can't believe I forgot this in the presentation, but in your presentation, you need to offer the owner's promise guarantee. So this is what that's like for a salesperson. If I'm selling a job for you, Bob, and I'm out there, I said, you know, one thing I love about working for this company is we have the owner's promise guarantee. If there's a problem on the job, Bob himself will go out there and take a look at it. You know, he's not going to wait. And a lot of times he gets down on his knees and fix it because he's been installing for so long. He usually knows how to fix it. And that's what I love, because, you know, I used to work for a Home Depot and it was always a nightmare trying to get things done or get things fixed. And now with this company, Bob will go out there and take care of it himself. It makes it really easy for a salesperson to sell your company when you offer that.
Yeah.
I never
cool.
offered the owner's promise guarantee because I would never go out to a customer's house.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Thanks.
But we did have the Adam experience. I had a guy work for me that was Adam that, you know, would make sure that if there was anything wrong, Adam will go out there and take a look for it. Take a look and take care of you. And in our reviews, we would hear from people that yeah, that was great that Adam came out here, he fixed our flooring, or not fixed it, because Adam didn't know anything about flooring. Adam was an operations guy. He was a nice guy, but he didn't know anything about flooring. So
but he would
that
go
experience gave the customers confidence, and they liked it that they had somebody to talk to. Yeah, Kevin was saying that in the chat that they offer a same-day guarantee quote, but return to the store to figure everything and check stock. I mean, that's great. It's a process. It's a thought-out process that should be explained to the customers, you know, and understand that sometimes people take days to get back to them. And think about this: who's your competition? You know, are you competing against other flooring companies? Yeah. But you're also competing against other people that they do business with. So let's say they got an estimate to do cabinets, and that cabinet guy took a week to get back to them. You know, well, Kevin, if you're offering a same day quote, then that experience you're giving them is much better than the cabinet guy that took a week to get back to them. It's something I learned. I was reading a Disney book that their competition is everybody. So they compare themselves, the experience when you're on the phone with them, booking a hotel, to the experience that they have at going to Discount Tire or going to a restaurant. You know, you compare experiences across the board, not necessarily within the exact same industry. So Vince, correct my spelling on vacuum, so it didn't look right. I don't know if it is spelled wrong. I think the spelling is something that's always been funny for me because I'm a get it done guy. So I'm not always as concerned with stuff like that. What was that? Oh, that was on the other thing I gave you guys. I like to get stuff done, and what's funny is people do point out when you misspell the word. Sometimes it's done intentionally, so people will reach out to you, and they've read all your material, so they do it to check your spelling. How do you handle the question about what is the weight of the carpet? Okay, that's a great question, Harold. Again, if you're getting that question often, then I would be prepared for that. So I love the ounce weight story. And one of the things I did, and I show this in the master class, we changed all our displays. I put labels on them to show the ounce weight. And the reason I do that is because it's something, again, think of this from a customer's point of view. If I see that this is a 40 ounce and that's a 50 ounce, I know without knowing anything about carpet, I know that a 50 ounce is better than a 40 ounce. Okay. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not, but it makes sense to me that a 50 ounce carpet is going to be better than a 40 ounce carpet. Very interesting thing when you do that too, people gravitate to not the one in the middle, but the best. So what I find is when I have the ounce weight on there, I love the displays. I hate the name color wall, but when they have all this carpet is available in a 30, 40, or 50 ounce, boy, it's really easy to sell the best carpet every time. I know Bill Schober, I believe, is on the call, and he could probably confirm that when you've got that display and you give good, better, best, people tend to buy the best more than better. We did get jammed up with a question. It wasn't about the weight. It doesn't get, what was it was like the retention or something that was totally left field. But this is a good example of how a good presentation will give them confidence in you and make you question other people. We didn't answer that question very well. That information was on the flyer at Home Depot. So since we couldn't answer that question, she didn't use us. And the salesperson tried to explain that's not important. And that was a good training opportunity too. What I do a lot of times is sit around the showroom and listen to the salespeople talk to the customers. And that's where I come up with a lot of stuff, because I like to listen. When my salespeople get jammed up with a question, I go, we got to figure that out. How are we going to answer that question? That's how we came up with the installation question, the how much do you charge question. But when she asked that question, it was actually Miranda, our sales manager. She couldn't answer. We talked about that in our sales meeting. And it's like, okay, in the future, how are we going to answer that? Or if you don't know the answer to the question, you can't tell a customer, well, that's not really important. You got to say, well, I'm not sure. I've never been asked that before. Let me find out for you. And then you can't just dismiss what's important to them. Even, it doesn't make any sense. It's not important. And it's funny, I've had that problem with Mohawk telling me on ounce weight with carpet, because it's not very well displayed in a lot of their carpet. So they say, well, it's not really important. It doesn't tell you the quality of the carpet. Yeah, but it is to the customer. They can see the difference in the ounce weights. And I had their color wall in here, the old one, and we never sold any of that carpet until I changed the sign on it. I changed the story on it. I put clear ounce weights on it. I gave it 3 price SKUs instead of it had like 6 or 7. So taking all this stuff and dumbing it down, one of the challenges that many of you have, if you've been in this business for a long, long time, you start to tell customers what's important to them, what should be important to them, instead of listening to them and really understanding what is important to them. One thing I teach is it's better to understand than to be understood. And look, I'll go right back to even me as a coach and a consultant. I've been challenged by, what's your education? What's your background? Why should I listen to you? Well, my answer to that is, well, tell me about the business. What's going on? I'm not going to give you an explanation about me. I want to know about you and your business and and what's going on, and let's have a conversation about your business. If the information I give you piques your interest, then you're going to hire me. If it doesn't, then yeah, maybe you'll go with somebody that has certifications and other kinds of qualifications. So same thing I teach people when the customer calls you up and they say, how much do you charge for carpet? Your answer every time should be, well, tell me about your project. What are you working on? And everybody in your company should answer that question that way. Now, if they send you a message on Facebook, or they send you a message in the chat that, how much do you guys charge? You can't say, tell me about your project. What are you working on? It won't work there. In that case, you have to say, well, do you have material already, or do you need something? You've got to give them a yes or no answer. The strategy between digital conversations is to start the conversation, because unless you start the conversation, you're not going to get anywhere. So you've got to ask them the dumbest, simplest question you can ask them, just to get started with the conversation. Once they answer you, now you can have a conversation. Okay, gang, anybody else? Do you have a process? I sat down with Nick and worked through his process on tile, and those of you that do tile is the most complicated flooring that we have, and anybody that does tile should be able to create the most kick-ass presentation that nobody can compete against. So there's so much that goes into everything that you do, that your presentation should be done in a way that, yeah, it's going to make people afraid to use somebody else. And especially with residential retail, if you're doing rental homes or apartments, yeah, or commercial, it's probably going to be a little bit more about the price in those cases. Oh, see, Jennifer, you got hardwood sand and finish, and love to hear ideas on that. I am dying to build a presentation for some of you folks that do the hardwood sand and finish. Can you give me an idea of what your pricing is at? Are you guys under $5 a foot or over $5 a foot? Under. Nobody should be under $5 a foot. That process should be so well thought out and presented that, again, people would want to use you. And your job is not to save your customers money, okay? It's to do a good job. So that process, just think it through and put it on the whiteboard of, what do we have to do in order to do this job? You're going to have to assess the job. Are you going to have to cover or protect anything in the process of doing the job? What is your sanding process? What's the dust and the dirt going to be like? Do you have a cleanup process afterwards to handle that? What is the sanding that you use? What's the sandpaper you use? And why do you use that? And again, it doesn't have to be extremely detailed, but just enough to really make that customer confident in you. What kind of finish do you like to use? Robert says they got a tiered system, and that's it too. I would, starting by the customer's lifestyle, starting a $5 basic plan up to HD traffic. So let me give you another thought around that, Robert. If I planned out a sand and finish business, I would probably start off at $850 a square foot, and then I would go down from there based on the size of the job. So because I don't care about their economics. If it's a small job, it's, you know, instead of charging them extra, I just don't give them a discount. So if they're doing one room, I'm not going to give them a discount. But if they're doing 300 square feet, I might give them a 10%. If they're doing, 800 square feet, I might give them a 15 or 20% discount. That whole presentation goes really good. So if you can start off with the higher prices and give discounts, there's a lot of stuff we teach at the master class too, is how to start off. And this is with everything you guys do. It is so much easier to give a discount than it is to charge somebody more. It is so much easier to start off with a higher price and give discounts. That's why when you're selling too, it's easier to start off high and sell something cheaper for a higher price than it is to start off low. So Caesar, you got a presentation, definitely a key. We have other competitors, and I would make my gold standard the standard. I would offer the ultimate experience for a customer. I would include the baseboards. How are you going to treat? How are you going to finish that? I would include furniture moving that furniture back. Do you want to move the furniture back the next day? Do you have to give cure time? Is there a reason why? Give them the explanation, the reason why. Just give them that kind of confidence in you that they're going to be afraid to pay somebody under $5 a square foot. These are hardwood floors. And think about it. Are they saving money by using somebody else, or how much money are they going to save by using you? If you're charging $750 a square foot to refinish, they're saving about $10 a square foot versus buying new. I mean, that's really the option. I wouldn't give them the option of using somebody else. I give them the option of use me, or you have to buy new hardwood floors at $17, $18, $19 a square foot and up. So there is so much that goes into refinishing, and I don't know anything about it, so I don't really understand it, but I guarantee you guys can build a kick-ass presentation around it. Just think it through. I like to do two things. When I'm creating a presentation, or when I'm thinking through any process, I'll get on the whiteboard and draw a line down the middle. One, this is how we're going to handle it. So this is our process. We're going to give an estimate. We get the job, we place the order, This is my process. This is my customer's experience. They go out, get a quote, they write a check, give a deposit, and now they're waiting to hear from me to schedule the install. And then, so what is their experience like? Our guys show up, they move their furniture. What's their experience like? And through that, you can kind of marry it and build that whole process and that whole experience. And again, you don't want to overcomplicate it, but make it clean, make it sexy. Whatever you do make, it's going to far outperform your competition, because how many people have this? Now, we have gone out and got estimates, done our own secret shopping from 20 different companies. I hired a gal, this is a great idea for you guys. Hire a gal that needs a little bit of money, stay-at-home mom or whatever, pay her $50 an estimate. Have her get 20 in-home estimates, but also secret shop your company. Have her call your company and get an estimate from your people to see how they compare. So my salespeople left the quote behind, left the package. They have far more confidence in my people, and my prices were way higher. Now, Obviously she knows what's going on, so she's judging a lot harsher. She says she would have gone with us. I'm not sure if she would have at the end of the day, but the bulk of the people never got back to her with an estimate. Only one other company left an estimate in the home, and that was Empire, and they took a photo. They let her take a photo of the estimate on their iPad. So nobody left an estimate behind but us. And having that tangible piece of paper versus an email, that's powerful. So I like to talk about the frustration people have if you don't leave them an estimate, and just think about that for a day or two. Can you imagine going down to Discount Tire and getting an estimate on tires, and they'll say, yeah, we'll get back to you tomorrow and let you know how much that's going to be, and then you go to another tire shop and they say it's going to be this price. Hey, if you're ready to go, you're going to go. Now, there's a Kobe test that we do that measures your cognitive strengths. One of them, one of the areas is a quick start. If you have a customer that's a quick start, sell them the job. We've got people that come into the showroom, they have their measurements, they're ready to buy right now. They don't want to go shopping. Take their money. They want to buy right now. And you can tell if their measurements are good enough to go off of. So go off their measurements, bump up the price a little bit. If you delay them and say, we've got to go to your home because we want to make sure that we get everything right, then, and they come into my store, well, we're going to sell them. You're not going to have the opportunity to go in their home. They're going to cancel that appointment. I can't tell you how many times customers have come in. This is one of my favorite stories. Customer comes in, they want carpet for $2 a square foot. They just came from Home Depot. So my response to them was, tell me about your project. What are you working on? They said, oh, we're doing our master bedroom. And I said, oh, okay. Are you selling the house or do you plan on living here? Oh, no, we're going to live here for a long time. All right, great. Well, let me show you some stuff. Do you guys have measurements on you? And they said, yeah, we got them right here. I said, all right, let me figure out how much carpet you need. Let me show you some things. I don't have anything $2 a square foot, but let me show you some stuff and we'll figure out how much it's going to be. So I grab their measurements, figure it out. I show them Bolera, $650 a square foot for polyester carpet, right? So I show them that carpet. Price comes to $2,300. And they're, oh, wow, that's a lot more than we planned on. They fell in love with the carpet. They said, do you have anything closer to maybe $1,500? Okay, $1,500 is way raising their budget because they're not even close to $2 a square foot at this point. But they said, you have anything closer? I said, well, let me show you something else. I brought out Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver was $2 a square, or $200 less, closer to $2,000, $2,100. And they're like, it's not worth saving a couple $100. I mean, this is our master bedroom. We're going to live here. Yeah, let's go with that one. They cut me a check. I mean, they were ready to go. They gave me a deposit right there. I never went out to their house. I never measured it. I never even saw their house. So you got somebody that's ready to buy, go ahead and sell them. That whole experience was just so much better than what they had at Home Depot. Anybody that thinks price is relevant to customers, it just, you got to understand that people ask how much should you charge because they don't know what else to ask. That's just a natural conversation to have. I mean, think about yourself when you're shopping. You want to know what things cost. You want an idea of what it costs. One big tip, put prices on your website, and you can check out our website, carpetsofArizona.com, and see how we did it. We give a range of prices. So I explain there's 5 different types of carpet. There's carpet for people that are selling their house. There's carpet for renter, carpet selling and renting. That's one category. I'm going to live there 3 to 5 years. That's another category. I'm going to live there about 10 years. I got a busy family. I'm going to live there the rest of my life. and Berber. Those are your 5 different types of carpet. They're buying based on them and their lifestyle and what's going on, not based on polyester versus nylon. All right, gang. So if you guys don't have any questions, you can reach out to me privately if you like. If you want some clarity on some of this, if you start to write this stuff down, send me your flyer. I'd like to see it. And just one more thing. I designed that blank sheet kind of like I did this. It just seems to flow to go 1, 2, and then here 3, 4, and then back over here 5, 6, 7, 8. Rather than going all the way down 1, 2, 3, 4. However you storyboard it, it broke it up. In all my marketing and everything I do, I like things to be more visually pleasing than accurate, if you will. So I like them to look good. I think, you know, when you come into my showroom, we started off, we had a big play area and I had Disney characters in the front. I just liked it, calmed down the senses. You know, you walk into a sales showroom and when you saw that play area with the colors and the Disney characters, it just calms you down, calms down your senses. With any of the marketing I do, the signage, I pay attention to colors, fonts, things that sometimes are kind of meaningless, but you know, we are in a very visual business. So don't dismiss how important it is for people to what they see. I recreate signage for our displays all the time because the signs from the manufacturers suck. They are scientifically accurate and women don't give a shit about the stuff that's on the signs. Furthermore, the signs are there for your salespeople to point out things, and it really helps your salespeople to tell the story. So I've noticed that customers don't really look at signs. They're looking at the carpet or they're looking at the vinyl. They're looking at the product that they're interested in. They're not reading any of the literature. You want to put up a big rhinoceros to tell a story about how this carpet lasted in a rhinoceros. Nobody is going to see that rhinoceros. This is a complete disconnect from what they're thinking of. It just doesn't work. It's a supportive story, so it's a tool that you can use to support the story that you're telling. But none of that stuff really stands out to a consumer. You know, so, something very interesting that guys can do an exercise, just be aware of what your consumers, what are they looking at? What are the things that they're saying? You know, be interested in them and what they're saying. You know, you want to learn how to sell well, you know, understand if you can start a conversation that's already going on in their mind. So understand where they're coming from. Be more interested in them than interested in telling your story. I learned this years ago. I was selling blinds. I created a consumer guide for people buying blinds in Arizona. And it was all about them. And I just learned that I don't matter. You know, if how many years I've been in business, my expertise, how smart I am about this didn't mean near as much as why they were getting window coverings at this time and what did they need it for, and you know, are they more interested in privacy or making the room dark? How soon did they want that in? You know, what their decorating style was, what was important to them. All that stuff was important. I didn't matter. All right, gang, I'm gonna go ahead and give you full masterclass right now if I don't leave. Um, so anything else, you guys can reach out to me. And oh, Robert, people like answers, installation time, what you expect, etc. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna post about this too. I think it's interesting. Let's say you have you're doing flooring and it's not going to be in for 4 weeks. You know it. You sold the job and you told that customer, what's the date now? It's the end of January. We'll give you a call by February 25th and schedule the install. And your flooring's not due to come in till then. I'll schedule the install. If you don't call them between, even though that's what you told them, even though that's what's on your documentation, if you don't have any kind of follow-up in between now and February 25th, that customer's going to be pissed because they bought flooring from you and they haven't heard from you in 2 weeks. Send them an email, something. You've got it. You've got to communicate with them and let them know, hey, it's on the way. Yeah, that's great. You got a process on your website page that says what to expect. Well, then this is going to be easy for you to put it on a piece of paper, make it tangible, make it a leave behind. So this is another thing I should include. When does this come out? All of our prices are on the displays. So oftentimes when they're looking, is that price per square foot or per square yard? Because our prices are high. So we say, oh, let me tell you our process. Let me tell you how it works. You may say, what does that include? So we go grab the flyer, hand them the flyer and go over it. So I put it in their hands and I go over the flyer. So that's the time to go over the process. It's during the sales process. So you send the link. We also have a video that we send out, what to expect when you're expecting. That's worked really well. But you want that process to be in their hands during the sales process so they know what to expect. Because again, you're competing against other companies. So you want to give them confidence in you. And you've already got a thought out process, Robert. So just put it on paper. Have somebody convert it into paper and use it during your sales presentation. Oh, Wendy, as a manufacturer's rep, absolutely, you're welcome. And I would love it if the sales reps would learn this stuff, because if I was a sales rep, I would go in and create a kick-ass presentation for my flooring dealer to help them sell more of my stuff. So, rather than for you guys selling supplies and materials, competing on price, come in and help me sell your stuff. Make it easy for me to sell your stuff. Make it easy for me to tell the story of your product, and how we're going to install your product. Help me build this flyer. You want me to sell your stuff? Help me build this. Erica, you said brief overview of the masterclass. Yeah, so the masterclass, you're a little bit late for this, but we really go through everything. We start off by setting your goals, and you will set your goals at the masterclass. This is more of a working class. It's not just information. You're not learning stuff and just taking notes. We're doing stuff. We're getting stuff done. So we're going to figure out how many leads you need to reach your goals. And then we're going to talk about marketing and how to get those leads. And then go over the sales presentation. It's a lot of what we just went over, but we're going to talk a lot more about how you're greeted, depending on how they come in through your door, phone call, email, and then all the way down to closing the sale and giving the estimate in the home or whatever that process is. Some good closing techniques that aren't like high pressure and complicated. Simply saying, when would you like to have that installed? Assume the sale. Talk a lot about raising your prices. I show you great ways why you should raise your prices. To get over that fear, people have a bigger fear of raising prices than public speaking, I believe. So not everybody's in the position to raise their prices. So that's why public speaking is number one. But when you talk to people about raising the prices, they just freak out. Their heart starts pounding fast and they just start thinking, oh, I'm going to lose all my business. No, customers really don't know. And people freak out about shipping charges and all that. I help you alleviate that fear, and everybody that's ever raised their prices after taking a class or getting coaching has wondered, wish they would have done it ahead of time or before. We talk a lot about their salespeople and leadership, how to hire, how to manage, and then the installation incentive program. There are other things I go over as well about displays, about displaying. We have a segment we do at the end called GOIC that is for the people that are new. I give you guys so much information that's really good and helps you, that if you've been in business for a few years or 5 or 10 years, that's really good. The people that are new in the business need the same information, but delivered in a little bit different way. I mean, we want to talk about who do you hire first? How do you get started marketing your company? Because you're not able to do all of this stuff. You grow into it. When you're starting your company, it's very foundational. How do we build a good, solid foundation that we can grow this business off of? How do we have that kind of consistency? How do we learn how to make mistakes and move on? How do we trust other people to do something we can do better ourselves? So a lot of conversation around that. We got so many people that are just starting in business that are transitioning from installer to retail sales. So I like to work with them a little bit different. So that's more like a roundtable discussion than training. But I love the master classes because I can get your guys' feedback and very specific questions like this. It's, if I can help answer your question, what you're going through now, it's just fun because those of you guys that speak up and ask these questions, you're helping everybody else because a lot of people have the same questions you do. All right, gang. So yeah, if you're interested in signing up for the masterclass, just reach out to me. Pretty easy to get a hold of. You can email me or just send me a message on Facebook and we'll get you signed up for that. And other than that, AJ, you joined the call just in time for me to say goodbye to everyone. So I am going to provide the recording. So keep an eye out for this. And again, reach out to me if you guys got any questions. All right. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you later.